Okay, guys, welcome to this training. I know a lot of people talk about presentations and stuff, but I really want to make this into a training for you guys. There's something you actually do, something you learn and you implement directly instead of just listening. So hopefully you'll have to get to do a bunch of things and learn about yourself and see what you can implement in your everyday life. Perfect. And let's do this thing. I'm always excited, and I have updated this thing for this week, so I think it's going to be even better, I hope. Or maybe it's complete chaos. I hope you'll let me know. So I want to preface this with whatever the question is, whatever question in your life you're asking yourself, the answer is not being weak, right? But being mentally strong, on the other hand, is the only way to achieve your goals. I say this because at least if you have big goals, and I think most of you people who have that, or sorry, most of you people here have that, because otherwise you probably wouldn't dedicate time to figuring these things out. So what I'm going to show you today is the 3 arenas of mental strength and why they are essential. And this is the important part, right? And then you'll get to test yourself and see how strong you are in each of them. And this is the key component here. You actually get to learn and understand yourself, how good you are at this. So that from today and forward, and hopefully for the everyday, for the rest of your life, you'll be unbreakable in that pursuit of your goals. That's really what I want for you. You will also discover why the big myth of leaving the comfort zone does not equal mental strength by itself. And if we have time, which I hope we do, then we're also going to talk about why optimization, optimizing your training, optimizing your nutrition, optimizing your sleep, is also one of the biggest obstacles to being consistent in our personal growth. And this is the reason why I stopped optimizing all my life and instead did something very different. So if you guys want to kill procrastination and you want to become that person who just gets shit done, even when you're feeling unmotivated and when life just kind of sucks, and you want to be able to stay calm under pressure, you want to be able to control those negative thoughts and that anxiety, and you want to be able to perform at your highest level. No matter if you are in your business career, professional, you want to be the best parent or whatever it is, if you want to be able to control those negative thoughts and that anxiety that inevitably arises in life to perform at the highest level, this will be good for you. And if you just want to be physically strong, you're able to work harder and work longer than anybody around you, but you want to do it without risking burnout. Because a lot of people can work hard, but 5 years later they burn out and they go on antidepressant and just life turns to a shit show, to be honest. And maybe you also want that confidence that you will keep your promise to yourself and you never have to say again, I'll start on Monday, or I'll start again after Christmas, or I'll start again after summer. All these restarts, right? It wears us down that we have to restart all the time. So if that is you, then I would say this training probably is for you. But I want to make sure that you are in the right spot, so I'm not wasting your time, and so you get the most out of this. So stay with me for a few more minutes, and we'll figure out if this training is perfect for you. And if it is, I want you to commit. And if it isn't, you have my free pass to leave whenever you want, right? So my first question to all of you guys, to Heidi, we have double Heidis in here. We have Heidi, Harris, Ishkra. What will mental strength help you accomplish, right? I would love for you to put that in the chat. And if you help me figure this out, then I will also steer this training so it becomes more relevant and more useful for you. So please let me know, what will mental strength help you accomplish in the pursuit of your goals? And for those of you who are outside of StreamYard, unfortunately, I can't see your names. So there's not much I can't call you out as I can with people in StreamYard. So let me know, Heidi and Ishkra, what would mental strength help you? Perfect. Heidi, burnout from school. I'm a psych major. I need to get my master's in. I think you are the second psych major or PhD student in Unbreakable Mind, which is interesting. And Ishkra, help me go after my dreams. That's a good one. I like that. To reach goals fast. Okay, speed is important as well. Heidi, nice. I like that. Yes, I think speed is very important. But before we can talk about speed, we need to talk about robustness, so we can become consistent, so we can always take the step towards our goals. And so as soon as we're consistent and we have robust systems, we can talk about speed. But thank you so much for sharing that. And let's see, Harris, did you? All right, I got you guys. So here we go. Now, the next thing. I want to hear which of these apply to you. Number 1, I look disciplined, but I feel like a fraud inside. These are all quotes from the community, and I want to see which one relates to you. I know I'm capable of so much more, but I'm stuck watching life pass me by. I struggle to get up early in the morning because I don't know why I should. Even if you cognitively know why you should, in the morning, you can't access that, So you snooze maybe 5 more and 5 more. And maybe you are driven to win, but you procrastinate or you struggle to do the things that you know will move the needle. Or when you go on a vacation, or when you get sick, or when it's Christmas, your habits tend to break down. And you kind of miss that old disciplined self who just got stuff done. Or a future self that gets stuff done. And the last one, and this is a big one for the people who usually show up, you don't need more motivation. Like, you have read the books, you have done the things, you have listened to the podcast, seen the motivational clips. You don't need motivation, but maybe you need structure to get you where you want to go. Let me know if any of that resonates. I would love to hear that. Heidi says, I look disciplined, but I feel like a fraud inside. 1 in 6 the most, right? Ishka, yeah. So usually what I like to say is that if 2 or more of these hit home, you're on what I call the struggle bus. And here's the struggle bus for you guys. I just had to have a ChatGPT or Sora create a little struggle bus for us. Yes, exactly, right? The problem isn't being on the struggle bus right now. Because what we're going to do today is we're going to have a look at the struggle bus, what it looks, what's inside of it, why it is the way it is. And then I'm going to offer you steps how you can renovate it, how you can make the struggle bus something different, something better, right? And then at the end, I'm going to offer you how to join the strength bus, as I call it, the little thing at the back, the fancy, shiny things. And as you can see, we offer free cookies and endless determination. I'm very happy about this one. So you're in struggle bus. We're going to look at what the strength bus has to offer, and then we're going to see if you can change things in your life so it can look more like a strength bus, right? I hope this makes sense to you guys. I love this, by the way. I'm so happy with this one. I might just stop it here and just watch that image for the rest of the time. Okay, so many of you have tried the apps, right? Habitify, Streaks, Habitica, and they work for a while, and then we just lose it. Everybody has tried Duolingo, but for some reason, we still haven't learned a new language. We learned a few words, but then we drop it. Right? We have read how many here has read the David Goggins books or stuff like that? I want to see what we got. Have you guys read those books, those types of books? Haven't? Got it. But maybe you have taken some mindset courses, or you're listening to some of those mindset podcasts, Jocko Willink or Huberman or whatever. Maybe you're even doing cold plunges. How many here are doing cold plunges? Hand up or text up, I guess. Are you guys doing any cold plunges? I have. Cool. Yeah. So I think that's great. I've done all of that too. Right? But a cold plunge without the things that we're going to talk about today is just cold. Right? Now, Ishka says she's not doing that to herself. That's because you're smarter than the rest of us. So hopefully this training will not so much maybe add new things, because I don't like adding new things, but maybe you will have the same experience that Robin had, where decades of learning and thinking and experiencing will now connect the dots, right? So all the things you've done is not wasted. We will just connect the dots now so you can see how this fits and how you can take the next step. And the things that we're going to talk about, it's not something I put together on a piece of paper. I'm like, I'm just going to teach this crap. No, it's rather the opposite. It's things that have worked for a long time and continue to work. I took a lot of this from the military, and now I'm running this Unbreakable Mind, and it just works in such a beautiful way. And it doesn't really matter if you're like Julia, who's struggling with winning an elite match for years and years, and then she just did a few types of 3 arena changes, and then suddenly she had her first elite match win, right? Or if you're like Marusa, you wanted to learn this new language, but you have no time because I think she has 5 kids, and she's living in a new country, but she was able to learn B2 French, which is better than the French people. And she did that in 2 months of work, just by learning how to focus. right? Getting the mental tools to focus. Or like Rickard, who was a new regional manager who had the tough decision that no one before him had ever done to fire 28 employees. It's a tough one, right? But he figured out the emotional control that this was the best for everyone to do. So he got to do it, right? And when you guys stay to the end, I will show you how to get this new bootcamp that I've created, which I call the 6 weeks to an Unbreakable Mind Bootcamp, for free, like zip zero nada. Or as I like to call it, you get a VIP ticket on the strength bus, and you can leave. You can leave the struggle bus behind, burning down, right? I think that's a good one. I like that one. Yeah, it's a little me driving up there in the struggle bus. We're leaving that behind to burn, and we're getting into strength bus. All right, if you guys share your camera and you interact with me, I will give 1 hour of coaching to one of you guys. And the reason why I do that is because I think it's just so more fun when I get to see someone's face, I get to see someone smile, and I get to interact with them. It becomes more a fun conversation than it is just me speaking into the internet, right? So for whoever pops on their camera and interacts, I will pick one of you for 3 hours of coaching. Cool. But here's the deal. There's nothing you can buy during this training, right? Now you just know where we're headed and you know what we're going to look at, but there's nothing to, yeah, of course. There you go, Heidi. Yes, Iskra, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. That's a win. But you guys, you got to relax. There's nothing you can buy here. So the focus here is on the training. Just relax, learn as much as you can, and give your thumbs up in the camera so I can see you guys are live, and that makes me very happy. Heidi, you're my favorite. 5 stars already. Okay, you ready to do this? Is this relevant to you guys? Okay, excellent. So the deal is simple as that. This is the breaking point. If you feel like this is relevant, I suggest, or I would recommend, or I would, whatever you need to do, to just commit, right? So commit to the next 45 minutes of this training. And if you say it's not relevant, then I think this is the breaking point where you should go eat pasta or, I don't know, do something else. But now you know what it's about. You know if it's relevant to you. And if it is, commit, focus, turn off all the other crap that the life wants to take from you, and just be here with me now. And we're going to have some fun, because right now we're on the struggle bus, but you guys know where we're going. So here we go. When I left the army, I did 14 years of service. I met this beautiful lady here. She's now my fiance, and she told me this thing that I didn't really understand at first. But she said, you need to teach this. She said, you have done what 99% wouldn't even consider trying, right? And you did it without burning out, which was a big deal, because most people, for example, in the army would do 1 deployment and burn out, or the teams would break down. I would do 4 back to back, right? So I'm like, okay. But I told her, like, hey, yeah, I have climbed some of the highest mountains. I have worked as a bomb disposal officer. I still have my arms and my legs, so I can't be that bad. And Iskra, whoop, whoop, I like your nice shirt. That's a really nice one. So I have done that, right? I have run some really long 100-mile races and 11-day fast packing adventures with just me and a little backpack on the mountain, right? I have done that crap. I did finish college in half the time that the other students did. So I just told her, dude, anyone can do it. It's I don't think it's that difficult. But in that same moment, it kind of hit me. I kind of realized it, right? That on this journey, I have failed more than 4 military selections. Military selections are like week-long, beat the crap out of you out in the forest, right? I've done multiples of those, failed, and had gotten back, right? I almost got kicked out of bomb disposal training. It's a 4-year training, and if you miss just one part of it, you're out, and you get to go back to your old crappy job, right? So after 3.5 years, I almost got kicked out. It took me 37 years to find my dream partner. And I sank my boat in the Bahamas. I've died almost 4+ times. I spent 10 years of savings building a non-profitable business. Lucky me. And I say this not to brag, obviously, because there's not really much to brag about. But I say this because that's when I realized maybe this isn't so easy. Maybe everybody can't do it. So I become curious. You'll relate to this, guys, because you're studying PhDs and stuff. Like, you become curious, and you got to figure out. Some of you are going to spend 5 years on a tiny little question, which will have great impact So I became really obsessed with the thing. Like, why after so many failures and so many big failures? I'm not just talking about this being rejected a little bit. I'm talking about giving your all and people saying, how about no? Like you leave everything out there and they're just, no, we're good, thank you. Like, oh, thanks, ciao. And also why my much fitter and well-prepared competitors stopped, why they didn't show up at the finish line. And I don't mean fit as physically fit necessarily. I mean fit as they seem to have everything figured out, but still something was missing. You see, I'm no David Goggins. I don't have that cool stuff. I'm no Jocko Willink, if you know who those people are. I grew up with a single parent who hates sports or any type of physical activity. And I didn't have some extreme childhood traumas that made me tough. Everybody seems to have those stories nowadays where your childhood trauma is horrible and that's why you're strong. I didn't have that. I was painfully average, not including my BMI. I was definitely on the fat kid, let's put it that way. So I went through, the experience but one by one, and I tried to figure out like what happened, what was the story, what was the narrative here, like why did I end up here? Because by the end of it, I've also accomplished a lot of things. And the first thing I discovered is that you can go really far with a well-trained body. Like if you just work hard, no matter what type of situations, if you're digging out your vehicle from some African desert, or you're working long hours just to get the promotion, whatever it is, if you're just able to work really hard, if you have the capacity or stamina to work hard, then that will get you far, especially in the military. So, and I'm actually gonna take the opportunity here to do some drawing for you guys. Is that okay if I just pop out a little drawing? Because I think this is a concept that's really, really good. Okay. See if I can do it here. So this is, I've started sharing more of this, like how I see it from like a, what's it called? From like how I see it from a drawing perspective, I guess you could say. And it seems to be helpful for people. So I'll try to do that again and see what you guys think. So here we go. So we're talking now about a really strong physical body. And one thing that I would say happens to a lot of people. So let's say this is where your starting point, whatever, in life, in business, and whatever. And then you work hard. And then you achieve something. So let's say up here is whatever type of progress, career, business, whatever. So you achieve something. So you realize, oh, you know what? If I just work harder, I get to where I want to go. So you do that again. And you work harder and get even further. So you do the same thing again. You work harder and you get even further. And the interesting thing here is that while just by working harder, you also get stronger. You get more endure, right? So it becomes this reinforcing circle where you do something hard, you become stronger, so you can do even more, and you go up and up and up. But what the heck happens when you do this for 10 years? What do you guys think? What happens after a while? Just give me, if you just follow that, like work hard, long hours, become more endure, work even harder, what's at the top of that thing? Spiral out. Yeah. Burnout, exactly. So that's the thing. It's so tricky. But when you get up here and you cross that threshold where it's like, I can't work more hours. There's only 24 per I don't know, per day. That's what you say. It's only 24 hours per day. I think so, at least. Sounds like I'm getting tired. But it's only 24 hours, and you can only work so much. But the problem here is, or the interesting thing is that, this might be 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, and then you hit the wall, and then people are wondering, I don't know what happened, right? And so it's so sneaky because we're getting better and we're getting reinforcement that if I work more, I get more benefits, right? And I also get stronger, so I can work even more, right? So this is a very important thing to take in consideration, that this spiral upwards is the sneaky thing that gets a lot of people into burnout, slowly but surely, right? Does that make sense? Okay, perfect. The second thing when it comes to your physical body, your mental body, or your physicality, is that if you see your mental capacity as a battery, I think this is supposed to be a battery, right? So let's say you fill your battery up with energy. So your mental capacity is full. This is when you're like, I'll backtrack. So you have a mental capacity, right? And then let's say Iskra. Are you a runner or anything like that? Okay, perfect. You're a runner. You can see it with the red jacket there. So if you and I go on a run, and let's say we just do 10K, right? You're way more fit than me. You're way faster. The effort, like when we run, you're going to talk to me. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to have fun, right? So your, like, let's put it, your load or how your effort is, it's going to be something like this. You're just going to go up. This is like your, let's see here. This is your effort level. So this is low effort and this is high level. You can see that at your thresholds. So you're going to go out, jog, and then you're just going to stay here in the middle. That's just fine. You're just having fun, right? Me, on the other hand, I'm going to go out on the same run. And since I'm not as fast and strong as you are, I'm going to go up here and I'm going to cross a threshold. Struggling with the words today. I'm going to cross this threshold. Whew, nailed it. And as soon as I do that, I'm going to start draining my battery, my mental strength battery. Right? So there are a few ways we need to figure this out. This means that when I get back home, after the race, we get back home, I get back to my family, and I'm pissed off because I'm so tired. I don't have energy more for the little complaints. You go home, and you're like happy, excited. You got rejuvenated. Right? So that's a big part of having this physicality, being physically strong. And for me, I'm going to drain my battery. Right? It's going to drain. For you, it might even refill because you're like, oh, this is fun. This is nice. Right? So what we need to do is we're either going to, we're either going to increase our threshold. So I'm just way better at dealing with stuff, which is this thing over here. We just have a higher endurance. Or we're going to be more efficient, like you are here. So you're just more efficient, right? But the important thing is that we have this threshold and we try to increase it so we don't drain our battery for unnecessary crap, right? And this is the same for carrying groceries home. If that is really heavy and it hurts my back, then I instantly go above this threshold and I start using my mental battery. Does that make sense? Yeah. So we want to increase the threshold as much as we can, like build as strong body as possible. This doesn't mean to be fast or lift heavy things necessarily, but it does mean to be pain-free. It does mean to be able to do the things we want to do without straining our battery. That's the two main components here we need to bring into the future, into the rest of this training. So if there's anything from the physical body that I want you to kind of think about, are these two concepts. Right? To move the threshold up, and just like how important that is. And now I'm going to see if I can do the magic trick here and get back to my slides. So, oh, no, it's disappeared. Go back on stage. There you go. So pushing harder, right? Working more hours, brute force. That's the thing we've been talking about so far. This is the upward spiral. And the more you do it, the stronger you get, so you do it even more. It's this really nice but also tricky thing because it helps you right now, but it wrecks you 10 years from now. And I believe this is why Unbreakable Mind starts out with the body. It's because it's the pillar of a well life lived. There's a beautiful quote where the healthy person has 1,000,000 wishes. The sick one, only one. And that is to get healthy. So this is such an important part for us to figure out. And we talked about the brain as the battery. If you are underdeveloped in this arena, your life is just harder, right? It's just straight off harder. Right? The run we're doing together, my life sucks, your life is great. Right? And we can see it over and over again. Injury, disease, and you will die earlier as well. We all know this. And burnout, we talked about that. You already solved that for me. Oh, yeah. So we're now in the struggle bus on the left. This is the engine room of your struggle bus. Oh, I like this. This is ChatGPT helped me with this one as well, so I had to put it in here. And so on your left here now, you have the struggle bus engine, right? Please note the hamster. I don't know what the heck the hamster is doing there, but it's not supposed to be in your engine room. Okay? I think that's what AI is trying to tell us. Don't keep hamsters in your engine room, right? And on to the right, we have the strength. We have this the strength bus. It's clean, it's nice. It even says optimum power at the top. And then we have a robot melting something, a human being. I don't know what it is, but you want the right one. It's not the best metaphor. Okay, I get it. Give me some slack here. I'm a mental strength coach, not a, whatever it is. So this is why we put the emphasis on physical resilience at first, right? It's the foundation. If we don't have that, things it's just more difficult. First arena. The first arena is obviously the body, right? And now we're going to actually go through a little test, right? I want you to do a self-assessment here of where you're at. I'm going to give you a quick statement. Then you're going to write your little score. And you can see how to score yourself up here to the right, which says, if the statement is very much like you, it's 3 points. Somewhat like you, it's 1 point. And if it's not like you at all, it's 0 points. Right? So you just put your score in the chatty. And then at the end, we summarize and we draw some conclusions, and you can figure out where you're strong and you're weak. OK, you guys ready? Self-assessment time. Yeah. Yeah, the hamster and the wheel keeps running and gets nowhere. There you go. Thank you. I'll put you on my next training here because you probably do this better than I can. OK, first question. I recover well enough to train hard multiple times per week without injury. So what hard means, that is up to you in your life, right? But you can do it without injury. Ishka, nice. Heidi, what you got here? And there's no need to this is all for you, Perfect. In the last 3 months, I've done some type of hard activity that took over 6 hours. This could be chopping woods, long distance running, whatever it might be. Or a biking activity or whatever. Oh, there you go. Third one, my body feels durable and dependable in everyday life, as well as during competition or challenge. And competition or challenge, if you're an athlete, it's simple, right? It's your competition or challenge. But if you are a mom or a dad, I guess none of you are dads, I guess that makes no sense. But if you are a parent, then competition might be those days which are extra difficult, right? Maybe you have to do all those things that it requires for you to be of a parent. Then that would be your competition or your challenge. Excellent. And now, 5K marathon last week. 5K marathon. Wait, 5K marathon. 5,000 marathons last week, or a 5K or a marathon. Did you do 5,000 marathons last week? It's pretty legit. I'm just going to step off the stage here. I have nothing to offer. OK, I have pressure fracture in my back and cannot do these things. No, so that's a good thing, Heidi. We have a lot of people who struggle with these things, and the task here isn't to do amazing physical feats for someone else. The thing is, what the heck is your next level? What is it for what is your next step? What is it you want to be able to do with your body? Whatever I can do or what Iskra can do, you don't give a crap about that, and you shouldn't. It's your next step. And the same for Iskra. We have different things we want to do in life and different situations who brought us to where we are. And the only thing that matters here are where we are, and more importantly, where we want to go. A lot of people spend time in the past. I don't care so much about that. I'm just curious, where do you want to go, and how the heck do I support you getting there? Does that make sense? Yes, 1 thumbs up. I'll take it. Take it. I prefer 2, but OK, whatever. Oh, marathon was actually your very first. Started training a month ago. Great. Look at that. How are your, can't remember the English word, but the things that everybody wrecks when they train too hard? You'll get it in a few weeks. Just a classic one. I'm just kidding. Hopefully not. OK, off we go. The second thing I discovered, right, is that the most difficult situation in life required more than just brute force and physical strength, right? It's those situations where there wasn't a good option. Either I help someone and that turns into a shit show, or I don't help someone and that also turns into a shit show, right? It's those situations where you don't know what's going to happen. It's dealing with the unknown, right? And life is always unknown. This might be a weird example, but in the military, for example, one of those capture exercises, they put a hood over your head and you have no idea what's going to happen. All you know, it's going to suck. Thank you, Army. Or when there's one of those tough conversations you need to have, when there's like this friend that you love and you have bad news, or maybe you're going to tell them something that is going to hurt, or when other people have things that you need to hear but also going to suck, right? Brute force is out of the game here. It's something different, right? And so earlier today I told you that I almost got kicked out of bomb disposal school, and bomb disposal school is a big deal. Like, you spend 4.5 years and you feel like your life depends on it, right? It's such a big deal. It's like a PhD, right? But in the military, it's just one of those things where like everything in your life zooms into it, and you just really want to get through it. And if you miss one little path of it, you're out, and nobody gives a crap. You're like, you're the guy who tried. Okay, cool, right? But the reason why I almost got kicked out was because I had this high satisfaction of letting people know when they were wrong. I don't know if you guys have it, but when people claim to be experts and they said something that was wrong, like factually wrong, I couldn't resist the urge to be right, to give back. And it's, even if I was factually right, my communication was reactive and not active. And it's something that I'm still embarrassed over, because it's like such an obvious problem if you want to interact with other people, to just be run by your own emotions. Yeah, Heidi, you've been there. Yeah, it's a tough one, because afterwards you're like, probably shouldn't have done that, So I'm going to draw some more stuff. So now that you have approved my drawings, we're going to do it. It's just going to be drawings all over here now. Painting class, Unbreakable painting class. I can find where my little tab is. Maybe that'll be if this doesn't work out, I'll just go to online painting. Yeah, Ishra, you'll buy my online painting course, right? So here's the thing. Right outside of here a few days ago, in sunny Spain, I was loading up my stuff in my mom's like stroller into an Uber. And then there was another Uber passing us by, and it was pretty tight. So the Uber passed us by, he put out his fist through the window and started screaming his best swear words in Spanish. And I kind of just like lifted my shoulders. I'm like, whatever, dude, just see you later. My driver, on the other hand, you could see his hands clench, you could see his shoulders go up, and you could see his breathing go up, And he got like, then he went into the fight, verbally abusing and back and forth, and they were just like triggering each other, and they just got pissed off. And then a few minutes went by, and I just look at the dude, and then you see our eyes contact, and he almost like his posture kind of clumps down like this, and you can see he's a little bit ashamed of what happened, and then he just apologizes, and we get into the car and off we go. Right? So the thing that happened here, right? This here is the situation in time, and the point in time where we get past. Right? So from that point in time, the time starts ticking. My driver's emotions, they go up. Like, he is getting like excited, agitated, and all of these things, right? Time ticks by, and then he enters a situation where we call the switching point, where he went from this automatic, living in his emotions, pissed off behavior to started switching, right? He's like, oh crap, that is not the type of behavior I want to be. And then he goes into what we call active behavior. So I'm going to put active here, and I'm going to put reactive here. So this part here, the first section, this is when he gets emotionally excited, he gets pissed off, he goes into battle, and he kind of loses control. Yeah, Heidi, no worries, see you in a few minutes. And then he comes to the switching point where he goes from automatic behavior to a chosen behavior. It becomes active and not reactive, right? So what happens here, right? When you saw his shoulder slump over, what do you think? Like, Ishka, now that you're here, oh, it's a small little crowd today. When you're here today, what do you think? What did he feel like? A little bit of shame, and why was his posture leaning over like this? What would you say? What was his experience, or what happened to him? Anger. Yeah. I would say most of the anger happened over here before the switching point. Once he realized that, oh my God, I'm being a piece of crap, he had this like, you know what? I am not the person who I want to be. But the beautiful thing is, once you're over here, once you're in active behavior, you get to choose your behavior. You get to say, you know what? This is the best version of me. The best version of me would act this way. Therefore, I'm going to be acting that way. I am courteous to my clients. I'm friendly. I'm nice. But over here, he's just not thinking. He's just pissed off, and he's just going at it, right? So a big deal here about the mental resiliency part and the self-control and emotional control, and the thing that I did not deal with during bomb disposal school, was that I was living too much here, too much in react. I allowed too much time between something happening and me switching behavior, becoming active behavior. The area between here and here, we want that to be as short as possible. Right? For some people, this can be this could be days. You get pissed off in the morning, and then 2 days later, you're still annoyed by that thing. You're angry, and it's still making decisions for you. Right? So what I want you to do, let's see if I can move this. If I can do some magic. So I want to move this switching point to the trigger point as fast as possible. I want you to feel those emotions, because we can't get away from them. We respond by fear, fight, flight, or freeze. Basically 3 only ways, right? So we're going to react with that no matter what. Right? But then I want you to see those feelings and see, do these feelings and does my emotion, my behavior match the ideal version? Oftentimes no, because we just want to kick people in the balls when we're in this situation here. You know, so it's just how it is, right? And that's fine. But we got to realize, you know what? This is suboptimal behavior. It's not who I want to be. So then we switch. And we want to move this switching point as close to the trigger point as possible. And that's what we do with the self-awareness aspect, with the breathing techniques, with this emotional control tools that we use. It's just to move this point here close to here so that we can choose our own behavior. Does that make sense? Okay. If there are any questions, you can always ask me. Okay, you could still yell though if you choose. Yeah. If any questions, just blast them on and we'll take it from there. It's like a private one-on-one now. This is fun. We have a bunch of people who are just like listening in the background, but me and Iskra, we're having a thing here now, like a personal training session. I like it. Also, I apologize if I wreck your name, if it's Iskra or Iskra. Okay, mental strength, that's a great question. So what I exactly mean by that is that there's a lot of complicated scientific explanations, which are useful if you're a scientist, but they are not to be useful for everyday life people like us, you know, people with small brains like this guy. And Iskra, something like that. Okay, so I say mental strength is the ability to keep your promises to yourself. If you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. Right? That doesn't mean you can't evaluate and change direction, but it means that you said you're going to do it. You're going to do it. Yeah. That is way more complicated when it meets reality, of course, but that's how I see it. You know, I try to make everything as simple as possible, even though I have weird drawings, which are maybe difficult. Okay, are we good with that one? Does that make sense? Any question about that? Okay, perfect. Is this new to you, or you relate to this, or you can? Yeah, you've seen this before. Got it. Everywhere. Double thumbs up, shaking the head, doesn't understand anything because it's absolutely dog crap, this training, but I get it. Got it. We're having fun at least, so I'll take it. I'll take it. Okay, back to the struggle bus. I love the humor. Okay, this we already talked about. So what I said before is like I lacked that self-control. My yellow X, or my switching point, was too late. I lived in my emotions too long, and I just had the urge to tell them to go F themselves. Right? Oh no, she can't. Oh, there you are. You're back, Heidi. Welcome back. You can't get out of it that easy. So if we have an underdeveloped mind, we become reactive, as we've seen, and we make poor decisions, right? Because we make them from an emotional standpoint rather than having calmed ourselves down and try to look more long-term. And we often say things that we regret. We might even DNF. And this is an interesting thing. People say, I'm going to go all out. I'm going to give it my all. And I say, that's just BS. Like, you're not going to give it all. Are you going to risk 6 months of injury? No way. Yeah. And most people say, yeah, no, I won't risk 6 months of injury. Okay, so you're not going to give it your all. So the question becomes, what are you willing to give for this goal? And that's a way more honest question, right? So that means you're not going to DNF, or you're not going to give up too soon or too late. You're going to give up at the right spot, and there is a right spot. What part there, Heidi, would you say was all you 3 years ago? I'm curious about that one. Yeah, blaming the result in the situation. It's a big one. And exactly, then you get bitter and angry. If you don't get to speak the things that you believe in, then it's a highway to bitterness. 100%. I'm very happy that you get out of that one, because that is a killer of relationships and of a fun life, right? If you have a strong mind, if you develop this wrong, you'll be able to face the rejections, whether it's finding a partner or rejections of a job or whatever it is. You'll have that self-control to look forward and make good decisions. And it's also such a big part of how we see the world, right? And I believe this, if you figure this out, this is the difference between surviving and thriving in life. Life is going to suck. That's just part of life. It's just it's not a bug, it's a feature. It's just how it is. But the question is how we move through that suckiness, right? Yeah, it's perfect, Heidi. And I think that's what I like. People who don't spend too much time in the past, but look at, what's a better version of me and how the heck do I get there? So now, lots of suckiness in the US. Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, what do we got now? What do you think we got? We have the mind, we have a dashboard, and we have what ChatGPT is trying to tell me, that on your left, you have the struggle bus. You cracked windshield, you have no, everything is taped up, it's all crap, things are just happening, right? There's obstacles in the way. On the right, we have this clear mind. We have a straight road to where we're going. We have a lit support. We have lights. We have GPS. Exactly. We have everything we need to get to where we want to go. And it's now we can talk about speed, as you said before, right? Now we can talk about how fast we can go. But if we're on the left side, we're on the struggle bus. We got to just figure so many shit out before we can even talk about speed. We just need to be able to get there first. Metaphor still sucks, but hey, here we are. So we have the body, we have the mind, two concepts that are not revolutionary, but maybe some of the details we talked about, or maybe how you can approach it, is new and useful. Okay, it doesn't suck at all. Very relatable. I appreciate that. Star student. So let's have a looky look on mental resilience. The idea is the same. I bring a statement, you score yourself. So first statement. When something stressful happens, argument, deadline, maybe a will to quit, whatever it is that you're doing, you can calm your thoughts within seconds or minutes. The time here is important. The timeline is important. ID3. Let's see. Okay, we have 3, and we have 1. And if I tell myself I'll wake up early or no phone until after training, I will actually follow through. Like, you can insert whatever you want there, but the idea is you say something and you're actually going to do it. Last one. I rarely avoid a tough conversation, workout, or things that scare me. The key word here is scare. It needs to be something that gives you a little bit of fear, a little bit of anxiety and doubt. And we're going to talk more about why that scare component is so important. And then once you've done that, I want you to summarize that score and give the summary to me here, and I will just keep track of it. I forgot the last round. I'm bad. My bad. Iskra, it seems like you're hesitating here. Is this a big math test? Yeah, this is a tough one. This is... I'll send you a link to a calculator and see if we can make this. We can make this work. Okay. Heidi, did I get your total? I can't see her. I'm losing it. Oh, you're sorry. Heidi 7. Okay, perfect. There you go. Yeah. Reflecting on the last. Yeah, sure. Yeah, whatever. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, I can be a piece of crap sometimes. Yeah, I don't mean to be that. It's all jokes and games. Tell me if I'm going overboard. Sometimes I just get out of control. Okay, perfect. Here's the thing. Mind and body makes us go really far. We've seen that. This is the reason why I was able to do a bunch of ultra runs and things, because you can just, you have the physicality, you have the mindset to just go and do things. And I think this is why a lot of people stop here. They're just like, I'm done. Life is great. I'm awesome. I'm strong. I'm mentally fit. I, high cognitive ability. I can do all the shit. What's more to ask? So we have some good insights, right? But then what about the days when, so in my example, when I actually wanted to give up, or like when my body was broken? Like in the military, a lot of times you're just physically exhausted. You're just done. Like you're way past what we ever thought was possible. Right? And I was somehow still able to move on during those selections, right? I was still like in the game longer than many of the other fit dudes, right? And this has nothing to do with me, because I'm physically down, I'm mentally down, but I was still able to continue. So like something is missing. This magical formula that we see on the gyms, like strong body, strong mind, it isn't sufficient. And mind, body, spirit is not sufficient either. And that's where I thought, and this is what kind of got me curious. It took me a while to figure it out. And it was really the big aha moment. It's like when you're, I finally get it. This makes sense, right? Then this turned into be the third arena. And this has been such a strong concept now that I've yet to find anyone who's peer-reviewed my framework and found the holes in it. And I'm more than happy if you do, so I can develop it. But it seems to be very, very tight now. And I learned this last lesson about the last arena when I was going through one of the times that I almost died. And it was I still get a little bit emotional when I think about this one, because it's one of those situations where I thought, this should have been the end. So this is the plane that I got up in. I'm going to do my first skydive of the year. I get up in this old little Cessna here. It's a semi-windy day. It's not perfect conditions, not super crappy. I jump out, I look at my watch, and I see I have plenty of time for the red area. Red area means you have to pull your chute, right? So usually when you open your chute, it looks something like this. When I open my first chute, it looked like this. So now my watch is going closer and closer to red, right? And this is what's on top of me. And I'm like, okay, fine, I know what to do. Right? I pull apart and you kick your legs and you're supposed to spiral out of this. This is the first time it ever happened to me. Nothing happens. Now we're on to red. Okay, what do you do when it's down to red? Well, you cut off your first chute. So basically the little break you have, the little comfort you have, you let go of that, and then you free fall again. And now we're so close to the ground, so you can actually see individuals. You can see faces. You see here, we're well above the red mark, and you see how big things are. You see how close to the ground we are. When you're down to the red, things are very close to the ground. And this is what I got. So I pop that one out. I pull my spare one. You have one in the back. Pull that one. And out comes the exact same thing. So my spare chute is just a bag of crap on top of me. So I look up and I think, not much to do. Pull it apart, and I kick, and I kick, and I kick. And now it's so close to the ground that I can see who is who on the ground, right? Not much to do. Pull apart and you kick. And maybe even hope if you're religious, right? We're down on red, and then finally it opens up. It just opens up to this perfect little parachute, and I land as if nothing happened. Right? And I feel good. But then a few seconds goes, and I start to get the shakes. I start to get that adrenaline dump. And then my coach comes running towards me, and she's carrying something, but she's running over the grass green. And she just looks at me and she says, take that off. So I take my parachute off, put this on, and I put a new parachute on. And she's like, your lift or your flight leaves in 5 minutes. Go over there. So she sends me up again. She puts me up in an airplane. We jump out, no problem at all, and I land. And I come back down. And I ask her, like, what the fuck? Like, wait, what? You sent me up there, but you could have died. And she's like, I looked at you. I saw you falling down the sky. You did everything correct, what you're supposed to do. There's nothing more you can do. And you were not panicked. You were not stressed when you landed. So there was nothing about what you did that was wrong. It was just a parachute. It's a statistics game. 1 in 400 has some type of problem. You just happened to be unlucky and had 2 of them at the same time. But she knew. Because let me ask you this. What do you think I wanted to do when I landed? What was my first initial thought? Like, what was my emotion? What did I want to do? Kiss the ground. Yeah, exactly. I'm never doing this again. I wanted to go grab an ice cream, go into the shower, put myself in fetal position and cry for a bit. Like, honestly, that is like, I just wanted to feel sorry for myself. And that's what I would have done. But she said, no, everything's fine. What you did was fine. You just had to do it again. Because if you wouldn't have done that, you would never have been able to do what I did just a few weeks ago. I went to Chamonix. I did some parapente with some guy just cruising around the mountain with 0 fear of heights, because I would have been afraid of ever parachuting again or skydiving or anything like that. But she got me up on the horse, right? So why am I telling this thing? Well, the third thing that I did realize, and that became the third arena, was the team component. The team component is the thing that when everything else is down, when we don't want to do it, we can't do it, and when our body has given up, we're just full of adrenaline, we're just run by our emotions, we have someone or some people who knows where we want to go. Not where they want us to go, but where she knew where I wanted to go in the future, right? She knew that I didn't want to be scared of heights. I had a career. I had things relying on this. Like, if my mom was there, what do you think she would have done? What would she recommend? Yeah, so Ishka, the second jump, it was actually pretty fine, right? The beautiful thing with skydiving and stuff like that is that it's so straightforward. Like, you drill the movement so often that it becomes automatic. Like, there's not much. So when I landed, that's when the kind of things kind of settled, and I was okay with it. But my mom, she would have been, I mean, I love her to death, right? But yeah, exactly. She would have said, no, like, don't do it. Don't go up there, right? But the thing is that some of us, even though we love them, we're going to give them advice or thoughts based on what we want, not what they want, right? And that's a really tough one. And chances are that you're going to give that advice because you don't know how incredibly important this is to me, right? And that might be because I haven't communicated my vision and how important this is. So for you, you might see it as a risk to your children. But for one of your children, this might be the dividing point where life takes one direction or another. So that's why we develop the team arena, not just by random chance, right? Not by just like hanging out with people. No, we develop your vision and make sure that you can communicate it, right? Because if you don't have a vision, it's really hard for anyone else to understand. And you need to be able to communicate so they understand. And the thing that happens when you do that is that when things get rough, you're not alone, right? And yeah, it's a big deal. And I think this is the component what makes Unbreakable Mind very different, as far as I can understand. I haven't seen anything similar, at least. And we take this team aspect as something you train and develop, right? You learn the skills to develop your team, to understand them, you understand them. And the beautiful thing about this, when you do this, if you don't do this, you will learn much slower, because you will not get honest and useful feedback. You might get people who are honest, who think you did absolutely crap, but if they don't put that in a useful way, it's not feedback you can use for anything. And this leads to like we living in our own world, this disillusionment, because like I don't really get any input, so I think I'm the best friend ever. But people actually think I'm super annoying. I think my jokes are great, Iskra thinks they suck. She just wants me to turn off this this live show here, you know? So it's very important, this aspect. And I would argue, if you have a good team, they hold you accountable when needed, and they support you when needed in the direction where you want to go, right? And they understand what you need when you're lost or down. Not what you want, but what you need. Very important. Oh, thanks, Heidi. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm going to screenshot that and tattoo on my chest or something like that. And a good team obviously also pushes you in the direction you want to go. And I think this is the important part, right? We want to develop teams that push us in the way we want to go, or attract us into the direction where we want to go. It's very important. And I think the old adage is true. If you want to go fast, go alone, right? If you want to go far, who do you bring? What do we got? Team. Nailed it. Go with a team. So that's how we put all this together, right? So now we're going to test your team, and it's getting dark here. So you know the rules. First question: I have people around who give me honest and useful feedback. And the key here is honest and useful. You don't want only honest or only honest, I should say. Trying to get some light here. Spain. Your team. 1 and 2. I have people around me that understands my goals and pushes me to do what I want, not what they want me to do. Nice. And when I succeed, I have people who genuinely celebrate with me. This is a big one. I used to share my wins with people until I got some really good advice from a friend that I was being naive. Because some people, they don't enjoy your wins, and they might take that as offense against you, which is obviously not a good teammate, right? All right, and let's score it. Here we go again, math exam. And Iskra 7. Cool. Oh, double. Okay, now we're going to have a look at the conclusion here. It's going to be very simple. We're going to make it as straightforward as possible. And if you ended up in the total, let's see here. I missed you. Are you guys tracking the first arena? The body arena? I don't have the totals. Sorry about that. It's worst. Now Heidi's going to think this is the worst presentation. God. Okay. So the body was 0. It is 0. And six for body. Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to do even more advanced stuff here. So if you have one arena, which is 0 to 4, this is probably the weak arena. So for Heidi, that would be the body or the physical resilience arena. And for Iskra, I see a 4 on the mental resilience arena. This is the obvious point where like there needs to be something here. Like if you trust this area, then you have some big gains here, and they're probably going to be easy as well. That's the beautiful, because it is that when we start out doing something, or when we suck at something, it's usually because we're not really doing it. So once we just start doing something, we get instant gains. So it's just it's almost the best part, like, to try something new, at least for me, because I know I'll suck, but I also know I learn so much and I get all the fun wins. You know, when you've done something for 10 years, you're like, yeah, I can improve, right? But it's so small. So if you have a low point, it's really an opportunity to do massive gains in a short time. So that's how I want you to see it. If you're in 5 to 7 points, which would be the body arena for Iskra, body and team for Iskra. Sorry, I'm saying it wrong. And then the mind for Heidi, which you had 7. These are the things that usually this works until it's getting really tested. So if you're aiming for something big, you have in some people here to do ultra endurance races or stuff like that, or 5,000 marathons like Iskra did last week. Then you will probably find out that, oh crap, I'm not as strong as I need to be in those moments, right? But on everyday situations, they usually tend to work. And then 8 to 9 points, obviously, those are your strengths. And Heidi, you have a really strong team to work with, which is super fun. You should probably let them know that you're very happy about that, and you have them with you, and just reinforce that. Yeah. Okay, that's good. And these questions here, I didn't just like sit one day and write questions down. I took them from Angela Duckworth's grit test, which is a scientific way of measuring grit. But I also took them from the community. I looked at people who are the highest performer in the community. I looked at the highest performer that I've worked with, and I try to figure out what type of questions would they uniquely score very highly in. Right. So that's the foundation of what we've been doing today. And I hope this can give you a little bit of guidance on where you're at and where you might begin to work on. Did you guys draw any conclusions from that? Anything that you're like, okay, here's my takeaway? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the physical thing is really like you're gonna have so much gain there. If these things relate to you and you feel like this, yeah, this is it. And with those injuries, like there's so much to win from probably quite little effort. And I'm not saying easy. I'm not saying it's going to be easy to fix it, but I'm saying a little bit of effort will probably give you a lot back. Right? That doesn't mean it's just like, I'm just going to do it. Because if it was that easy, obviously we would have all done it all the time, right? So then the question is, what the heck happens when you develop? Or Heidi or Iskra, are you writing maybe? Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I'm extremely independent myself. I'm very much like you there. Like I just like, I got to do it myself. I got to figure this out. This is all on me. And I just realized that's a really good foundation. But then there's a limit when you're like, yeah, I could also do it myself, or I can 10x my development by just using the people around me. And while inviting them to work with me, we build stronger bonds, right? It's a win-win in every level. But I totally get super independency. It's something I'm struggling with. But I would argue when you develop these 3 arenas, you will have a body that can take you on the adventure. Right? This is your vehicle. This is the thing that takes you around the dust fun stuff in life. You will be able to act instead of react. You remember that Uber driver that I had? You will not become that person. Instead, the beautiful thing is you get to choose your own behavior. And hopefully you will choose a behavior that is the best version of yourself, right? Like what would the best version of yourself do now? And since you're being in control, you get to choose. You can mirror that behavior and try it out. And you do that over and over again, and suddenly that's who you are. Like Diana often tells me, it comes so natural to you. I'm like, dude, I spent 14 years trying to figure this out. It might look natural now, but it sucked trying to figure it out. Like, so natural. I mean, I know it's a compliment, but it's also like, damn it, I put so much work in this. But I guess it's a good thing. And then we will have people around you that criticize and support you at the right time in a useful way. And the idea here is that I want you to be criticized up to the point you make a decision. And once you make a decision, they should be on your team. They should be helping you to get you where you want. But before, brainstorm, figuring out what direction you want to go, they're going to criticize the crap out of it. But once we switch it and it's go time, they're going to help you go where you want to go. So Iskra, Heidi, I have a strong core of women who are quick to tell me how awesome I'm doing. Yeah, it's very important, very important. React to criticism, not realize it was all. Yeah, exactly. And it's that Heidi, that I think that is still valid. We can still get pissed off when someone tells us something that we suck at. But if we can shrink that to that switching point, then we just get pissed off for 5 seconds, and then we say, I appreciate it, thank you so much, instead of letting it like, I can't believe they said that, So that's a big one. Exactly, big deal. And I'm going to assume that really changed your life in many ways, Heidi. Yeah. So then, looking at what you heard now, the things you've been through, and like, the 3 arenas, you understand what they are and how they can change your life, how valuable will it be for you to develop these. Like 1 would be absolute dog crap. It doesn't make any sense. Or 10, this would actually be something that would help me go somewhere. Heidi is a 10, yeah. It's your 10. So then the next question is, and I think this is, if there's any question if there's any gift you can give me, it would be to answer this question. If you develop this, what would become possible in your life? Like what is the thing that is a dream that would become reality if you nail these 3 arenas, and if you build that mental strength, or you build that complete system in your life, basically? You would have your PhD in my own practice. Oh, cool, I like that. And I would work further. Yeah. PhD, own practice, I like that. What would that walk further? What does that mean to you? Like, why is that an important thing? Yeah, I love that. Such a good, I will conquer the world. Gotta aim big. Unless you're thinking dictatorship style, then I'm like, maybe, cut that down a bit. Thumbs up. I mean, everyone's looking for a good dictator, but you want to have the mobility so you can go places with my grandchildren, or even just take a nice walk along. Yeah. I don't know. We should probably kick Ishka out here because she's about to take over the planet. Orange dictator. Yeah, I know about that. I've heard about orange revolutions before. But that is a beautiful thing, though. You have the mobility to go places with grandchildren, or even just take a nice walk home. Yeah, and when I said before that vehicle to go on adventures, that's what I was talking about. Being able to do those things that are really important. They're not about an ultra race. They're about doing the things that you want in your life, right? That's the important thing. I would argue, almost like you're saying, it becomes impossible to lose, because it's not just about you. It's not just about our self-independence now. If I break down, someone's going to carry my backpack, and for a while, someone's going to carry us. And then we get back, we get strong, we carry our own crap again, and then you can bet your ass that someone else needs help, and we're going to help them. That's the beauty of it. And that leads me back to that consistency, that robustness, that no matter what, we just know it's a matter of time where we get where we want to go, because now nothing can really stop us, right? And here's the problem, right? Because now we know where we're at and what we need to do. But I think the next thing we're going to talk about is why people get stuck. Because the thing I hear a lot is that we just need to leave the comfort zone, right? That's where growth happens. That you need to leave the comfort zone. But it's not about doing uncomfortable things. And hopefully you will see what I'm going here. Yeah, exactly. That is the essence of being human, isn't it? But we've been we're so indoctrinated now that we should do things alone. Right? It takes a village to raise a child, even though you should be a strong, independent woman. Like, I get it, but it's also, maybe there's more nuance to it, So here's the thing. Eating too much candy is uncomfortable, right? I can eat a shit ton of candy, and it's going to hurt my stomach. It's very uncomfortable. That is not about, I will not grow as a character, right? I will not become mentally strong by doing something that is uncomfortable only. But here's where it becomes interesting. Here's what we discovered. We need to leave what we call the now familiar zone. So the familiar zone are the things that you do in a regular habit. They don't scare you, but they can be hard. Like for some of us, it's like doing really hard workouts, right? It's tough and it wears us down, but it doesn't give us fear and anxiety and doubt. It's just tough, right? So it's uncomfortable. Like standing in the rain is uncomfortable. It doesn't make me mentally stronger. So what we realize is that it's about identifying what scares us and facing those fears in a structured, safe, and realistic way. Now, I'm going to feed a lot of information in your face now. So if you get overwhelmed, just let me know. But I think this will be valuable. I hope so. So we got to have structure, right? So you can learn from your experiences, because I don't want you to repeat the same mistakes. And I want you to do it in a safe environment that allows you to explore your limits without big risks. Because if you go, chances are you're going to set out on a challenge to do something. And if it's actually dangerous, then you have a good reason not to do it. Right? But if it's safe, then it's just your mind playing games with you. And then you get to choose. Am I going to take on this challenge? Or am I going to be pinballed around by my fears? And I want this to be realistic so that the training, the things you're doing, actually supports your goals. Right? We got to do things that mimics the things we want to do. Right? And this is very different. If you're running a race, then we got to mimic those emotions that you'll have at the end of the race. If you are having a tough conversation with someone that you're preparing for, then we need to mimic those emotions that you'll have. So you'll be optimally prepared for that. Right? And I'll give you some examples. So a lot of people go to the yoga studio, and then we're asked to stay calm and relax, listen to whale song, sitting in a yoga mat in a lotus position, right? Or we're asked to go to the CrossFit gym, and we're going to lift, do one more rep, go harder, right? We're supposed to build mental strength. But the thing is, like, anyone can do that. Anyone can do one more rep in a CrossFit box or finding calm in a lavender scented yoga studio. But life's toughest moments, and I think this will relate to you guys, they don't happen in those scented rooms with cheering crowds, right? They happen 2 a.m., midnight, if you're running a long distance race, or if you get a phone call in the middle of the night, something happened to your mom or something happened to your kids, where everything just hurts emotionally and physically. And that thought of just like, I can't do this anymore, when that starts to make sense. Those are the tough situations in life. Right? And those situations don't allow us to take that 5-minute yoga mat, roll it out, and smell, listen to music and smell some scented candles, right? And there will be no one cheering you on in those moments. Can we agree on that? Like, life is so different from those situations where we practice in, right? So that's the realistic component, right? The military is very good at this. They simulate combat as ethically possible, realistically as ethically possible, right? But in real life, we pull them apart so far that we can't even relate to the real situation. So what if there was actually something that could do all of this? Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be cool? I'm excited at this because I know that it's so cool. And then my obvious question is, like, if you had some training system that could move you strategically towards those skills and develop those, would that be good? Would you want that? Right? Because that is why I created Unbreakable Mind Path. That is exactly it. Because when I left the army, it's kind of a sad story, but I had shit to deal with. And so I developed this path to work through these arenas. We call it the Mental Strength Challenge, where you get to learn about yourself. Like, we did a quick test here. But the Mental Strength Challenge is a week long with small challenges to kind of let you understand who you are, where you're good, where you're strong. And then you move through the levels. You move through physical resiliency, so you build a strong body. You move up through the mental resiliency, so you learn self-control, emotional control, breath work, all those techniques in a realistic situation, not in the yoga studio. And then you get to practice that leadership, right? You get to have discussions with your team, with your family, with your colleagues, with your friends. And then we put all of that together to a final test. So this will be your exam, right? You will have to use all the skills you've learned to tackle one big challenge in your life, and you'll see how good you have developed the skills. So that's the Unbreakable Mind path that I developed. And I did it for myself, right? And then I invited some friends, and they said, oh, this is cool. And then I started inviting other people. Oh, something's happening here. I don't know what's happening. It's just calling. I can't stop it. Thank you. That's the panic. Zero emotional control. I just threw it out the window. No, so I created a little thing for myself, because when I left the army, I was sloppy. I was low discipline. I could feel myself growing physically in the wrong directions, in the wrong ways, not by muscles. So I needed something. So I just took all the good stuff I got from the military. I packed it up, and I ran my own training program for myself with these things, invited friends. And the only reason why I did this is because I wanted to finish whatever I started. I would just start a bunch of things and I would get distracted, right? But I needed this thing to get the guardrails up, have that support structure, and just keep on moving. And we already talked about this, how your life would change, right? If this is how you train mental strength. And I feel that this is something that is valuable to you and that makes sense. So I think it's worth also to talk about what the future could be, right? So you now have the opportunity to stay on the burning struggle bus, as you've seen before, which will catch fire and explode anytime soon. And you can keep doing what you're doing. I think Einstein said that. Do you guys know that quote? Einstein said, like, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results, something like that. Okay. Or you can join the strength bus. You know, the fancy little bus that we have been creating now, that we've been talking about. I have that strength bus, you know, and that is the system that will systematically train your mind, body, and team. And you will have a team of motivated teammates that want to do the same thing as you. So when motivation dips, which it will, that's just a fact. We don't rely on motivation at all. We rely on other things that are way more important in the long term, right? And it doesn't really matter. Like, we've talked about so many things, like whether you're an elite athlete or you're doing 5,000 marathons in a day, or you want to learn a new language, you have tough decisions to make, whatever it is, it's just one of those things that will help you through life, right? And so out of this thing, I created the bootcamp. I don't know, have you heard about the bootcamp, the 6-week mental strength bootcamp? No. So this is, yeah, exactly. I did the definition. This is how I took all the experience. I packed it up in a way which just, it's like an online live bootcamp, right? We do daily challenges, weekly coaching for 6 weeks straight. And that is to reset and get like you on a solid momentum to where you want to go. And we do that by treating mental toughness as a muscle, right? And here's the cool part. This is what I used to charge for it, $39.97. And it's not even $900. And it's €599, which is, what is that? $650. But here's the cool part. You can win all your money back. Because what I realized was that people would pay me and then it wouldn't show up. I'm like, dude, why are you paying me and not showing up? So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to create incentives for people to do the thing. Because if you do the thing, you do the training, I'll gladly give you your money back, because I know that you'll want to continue this training and we'll work together for many years, right? But I need to put a little carrot in front of you so you can see the benefits. So that's what I did. So I tell people that if you finish 90% of the challenges and you share your progress, and if you book your application within, if you do that, then you get your money back, right? And here's the beautiful part. This is where it becomes crazy bananas. If I can get it up here on screen. Oh, there you go. If you book within the next 50 minutes, I'll automatically upgrade you to Elite, which also includes one-on-one coaching with this guy. So whether or not that's a good thing, that's up to you to decide, but it is included. And I put down here, like, there's no commitment on the call, and there's no creepy salesperson. This is the creepy salesperson, I guess. But I will do it automatically. And the reason why I do this, because I know a lot of us struggle with procrastination. You're going to go home and think, and then you're going to forget about it. And then you miss a huge opportunity. So I'm like, book the freaking call. And if you do that and you get accepted, not everybody gets accepted. If you do that, I'll upgrade you for free to Elite, which includes one-on-one coaching, which is way more than $599. Let's put it that way. If you get accepted. Because Unbreakable Mind isn't for everyone. So on this little 30-minute call with me, we'll check your goals, we'll check the requirements of the program, what I expect of you, what you can expect of me. Financial struggle bus, yeah. Yeah, I know that one. What I expect of you, what you can expect of me, and exactly what you need to do to win. So you feel like I know what I'm giving myself into, and there's no like trick or crazy madness. Like, it will be perfectly clear what the rules are, right? Oh, once again, that's how clear it is. And here's the thing. I'm not asking you to make a purchasing decision today. That would just be crazy pants, because you don't even know what it is, right? All I'm asking is to you, don't miss this opportunity. Stay, like, get on the call with me. Let's see if this is something that is valuable to you, or if you want to stay on the struggle bus, right? Or take a peek inside. So all you need to do is like book a call with me, even if it's now it's not a good time, because it's never a good time. I know what you're thinking. And you're always going to say, I can't afford it. You'll get your freaking money back if you do the work. That's the entire idea. And if you can't afford it, you still feel like it's too much money to put out, then there are 2 other paths to go through the Unbreakable Mind path. One is extremely much more expensive, and the other one is extremely much more cheap. That is very bad grammar, but I think you get the point. So I have heard your objections. I don't give a crap. Just hang out with me on a call, and we'll see if there's anything that we can do to make it work. 6 weeks of training with me. You have your dedicated accountability buddy. I'll pair you up with maybe another PhD student. This guy is, though, in microplastics, so maybe he's a bit of a nerd. I don't know. We have another one. She's in psychology, so I'll pair you up with that one. She's very fun. Laura, UK. We're going to add weekly live small coaching. And if you book it now, you also get the workout library, which, I don't know. I think you get the point. It's just a great deal. I'm just going to, whatever. Oh, here's the cool one. I like this one. So I offer so let's say you enter the program, and well, for some reason you think it's absolutely dog crap, hence the emoji. I offer 100% satisfaction money back guarantee, and you just let me know this is absolute dog crap, and here's why, and I'll just send you your money back. Isn't that a good one? I like that one. I'm very happy with that one. And also, the experience you're having right now, this is how the program is. We have a lot of fun, It's just we just play around, and we're super serious when it's needed, but we gotta enjoy life, right? So here's my simple ask of you. It is not to commit to anything. It is not to pay $1 gazillion or anything. It is to realize that you have found a weak spot in your armor, and this is an opportunity to patch it, or to fix it, or to become really strong, right? And I was asked yesterday by my business coach. She's like, "Why should I pick you?" I'm like, great question, but I guess. And I'm like, I don't think there is anyone else. I don't think there is another program. But I'm curious. Are you guys interested? Are you going to book a call? Are we going to hang out? Or did I do an absolute poor job? Okay, I got you with the dog crap guarantee, right? It's actually the first one I'm using that one. I'm very happy about that. So that's great. I'm very excited. This is, as you can see, I just love this stuff. It's what I finally get to. I had a dream when I was 19 and I left the conscript service, and I felt like I could do whatever. I felt like I could conquer the world. You can relate to that, Iska. And I really felt like there's nothing that can stop me. And I also realized one day in the future, I want to teach this. I want to take all the good stuff that I've learned during my conscript service, and I want to offer it to people outside the military. I want to cut away all the BS, all the ridiculous stuff. There's plenty, and I want to offer that. And so this is my wet dream of offering this to the public, and it's been amazing in so many ways. So any questions? Any yeah, sorry, I'm going to stop blabbing now. Any questions? Any thoughts? Yeah, the financial struggle bus. I like that one. Is it also burning and the wheels are falling off? I can also, if you want to, I could put you on the screen and we can have a chitty chat if you want that, or you can just write it in the chat, whatever. Otherwise, I'll just keep dancing here until I get something. Perfect, Heidi. Yeah, thank you so much for saying that. I really appreciate it. I put a lot of energy into this, and I try to make it part of my personality, so it's one-to-one to what you experience here as on the inside. I don't have any sales skills or anything like that. I just have some trainer skills. So, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Speaking of being a good teammate. Yeah, and I always try to get, one thing I really don't like is when logistics, like money or time, is between someone and a dream. It's just something that really annoys me, because I've always been, I grew up with a single mom, and it's like everybody else got their weekly allowance, and I got a handshake and a pat on the back and good luck, kid. So so it's like, it still frustrates me, So I try to find one path that works for everyone, or a path that works for each one of us. Okay, sorry, I always make these mistakes. I always make the mistake of not adding the link to where the heck you go. So it says Unbreakable Mind up there, but I'll go put it in here in the chat. / book Gabrielle. There you go. And I'm happy you appreciated my new graphics. I'm very proud of those. It took me an obnoxious time to get that working, to do my artistic flavor, but I'm happy about the outcome. Yeah. Okay, I see. Yeah, I'll send it to you. I realized that I haven't sent it to the people who are not in StreamYard, so I'll blast it to you guys as well, and you can. Oh, there he goes. Yeah, the thing about the people on the YouTubes, you guys, I can't see you. I can't interact with you. I can only see the comments you make. So that the VIPs here in the chat. You don't mind. Heidi, where are you at? It should be plenty of times, unless my calendar really filled up the last few days. Indiana, yeah. That should be coolers. Let me check it. I'll give you a separate link in case it's packed. Yeah, I have a few people on US time, so let's see. In the meanwhile, I shall sing a song. Nah, I won't do that. So try this one. See if that works. If that gets you better times. Iskra, are you gonna have a chat with me too? Gosh darn it. Confirmation code. The song. Yeah, well, I don't know. I usually charge a lot for the extra songs, so that's. You don't have the VIP plus package. Let's put it that way. Oh, tomorrow. Awesome, Heidi. Thank you so much. We will have fun. I shall bring more stupid emojis and stuff. Yeah, and honestly, I think this will be very exciting. I'm usually, when I have someone who scores lows, in that sense, there's so many fun wins, and they're usually so easy to implement. So I'm very excited about that. I'm excited about a little chat tomorrow, and that's gonna be great. Exciting. Take care. And let's see. What the confirmation code are you looking for? I don't know any Bulgarian songs either, so actually maybe I do. I'll verify my email. Oh, wow, that's a picky calendar. That's weird. Did you try? Maybe you can try that link. See if that does any difference. I'm gonna play some of that some background music here, so it feels like we're like in a lounge. We're just like hanging out. There you go. Some book your call background music. That's what I call it. Got it. Just when I got the beats going. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there you go, right? Maybe, yeah. if this, if my painting business goes to crap after this one goes to crap, then I can go into the online dance party business. So many options here. No, but that's great. That's gonna be so much fun. Let's see. I got you in here somewhere probably. Do 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 do. Ooh. Yeah, I got you. That's fun. Great. We're gonna hang out on a Friday. Thank you so much. And I'm gonna paint. Oh, smart. I like that's a good niche. A painting DJ. That's a great one. It's just gonna rain money. That's how good it is. That's a great idea. I'm gonna remove this chat for all eternity so nobody thinks I didn't make this. So somebody's gonna accuse me of not being original. Thank you, Skaya. Yeah, I had fun too, and thank you for putting on the camera and just engaging with me. It's just so much more fun. So thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I will talk to you soon. My 5% of all income. Well, that'll make you a billionaire, according to my estimations. Although I'm not sure you know what 5% is because I've seen you struggle with the number. So yeah. I'm just saying. All right, that's perfect. I'm going to check out now and go to my mom's little house and beg for food. Bye-bye.